Whoa. Yeah. Hello, I'm back. More updates for projects that are going to be shown here at Adepticon this year. As I said in the RJ's Gaming Hall video, the guys from Wild West Exodus, Romeo and the crew, contacted me about doing some Western buildings and seeing what's possible with some of my sets and if they'll match up with the Wild West Exodus scale and those sorts of things. So I've been working madly to get as many of these buildings done and ready for the tabletop for a presentation that they're having. They're having a tournament at Adepticon, and I've been given a 4x6 table to put stuff out on, which is kind of good. So I've been working, just cutting and building and designing and trying to get as much stuff painted before the event. So I've been just hammering through. One good thing with all of these, seeing how I'm using the plywood for these, the birch plywood, it makes painting them a lot easier because all I had to do was just stain them. Most of the buildings are various shades of browns and grays and those sorts of things. That's because it's just wood stain. Just standard wood stain. Went to the hardware store, picked up 4 or 5 different test, the little small ones, and just went to town with them, and it's turning out great. So that's definitely a major time saver in that you can go from, like from a pile of wood to a completed building in less than a day, even painted. Can't really say that same for some of the MDF ones where you have to paint them for them to turn out. Not to say that MDF is bad, it's just a different feel. But anyway, I've babbled enough about this one. Let's talk about this building. This is the livery stable. This is the second large building. This one, when you add all the parts to it, is about the same size as RJ Gaming Hall, if not bigger. There's just so much to it. Right now I'm only showing one of the wings, but this wing on the side, there's actually one that goes on the other side as well. I just did one of them just for this video and for the event because the area I'm taking the pictures on isn't big enough to fit the full thing and get a nice solid picture. So we're going to start off with this one. I'm going to move around to show you some of the parts of it. We'll start off with, and I'll lower this, and I'll show you there we go. Try and not get all the other stuff in it. So I'm going to show you the outbuilding. So this would be one of the side buildings for it, which I hope is in the thing. So these you can actually build by themselves, and I did kind of a metal roof, and I'll see if you can see those, where you can see there's kind of a nailed down metal roof with little rivets. You've got an end pattern with rails and stiles. So this could be, like just the side of a barn, or it could be a building by itself that you could put other stuff in it. Say, for example, food storage or something. I don't know, any open storage that you'd have. Turn it into a corral even. So that's one option. And then in the final kit, if you were to order these, you'd actually get 2 of these, one for either side. This one I'm just showing one. There is a back section to it as well, which would be another piece to it. So, for example, this would be at the back of the building again, the same tile roof, similar design in that you'll have your door, your 2 sides. So this would be like if you've seen like an old barn where over the years they keep expanding to it. So they'll start off with the main body of the barn, then they need, okay, we need a place to put the horses, so they add the side sheds to either side of it. Okay, well, we need a place to put tools or other additional stuff, so they added that piece to it. So that's what that would be. And again, this one, like the other one, would be a piece that you could just set out on the table by itself, and you've got a completed building. So there's nothing. It's not just fixed to one setup. But then we get into the big one itself, which is the barn. So I'm going to move the Wild West Exodus figure out of the way. And we're going to start off with the simple stuff on this one. This one has a removable roof, just like all the other buildings. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the roof off to make it a little bit easier for us to see stuff. And we'll, whoops, bump the camera again, of course. And let's bring this up so you can actually see. Sorry for all the camera shake. So I've got the roof off on it. Again, on this one, I went with just a simple roof design. You can obviously do something else on it, but this one, I wanted something that would be like metal. Being a livery, it would be something that they built to last, so to speak. So we've got the barn. Now, first thing that I did on this one that was a little bit different was I actually made it so you can open and close the doors. So there are actual doors at the front and at the back that open, which is kind of nice, and allows you to put figs inside. Now, the front door right now, this is in the prototype, but I've actually raised up the floor on this one so that the model, when they're standing on it, will actually be standing at about here. So it's just like if it were a real working barn, you'd want to be able to put your block and tackle up here and pull stuff up to the top of it. Didn't stop there. I also did, and the lower doors open as well. So now you've now got a space that for your larger models can actually make it into it. Zoom in here a little bit. But you can see this is where that floor is that I was talking about. This one was the prototype. This was actually the first one out of my cut. But on the final design, this moves up so that you actually have that full open space. So you have, I think it's about 3.5 or 3 3/4 inches by 6 inches wide. So you could actually drive some of the larger models into it, which is kind of nice. So that's one thing with it. Go ahead and slide these back a little. Next thing is on the side, you have doors. Now the doors that come with this kit are the same as the other ones where you can do the fixed doors, but I also did these, which are little removable doors. So if you wanted to, you can set the doors up as open or closed, and they're just little doors on stands. You know, so you can set them in there. Whoops! And trying to do this one-handed is always fun. You know, so you have doors that you can move in and out of it, just like any of the other kits. Around the back, there's a door out the back as well, and that door was designed to line up with this piece. So when I put that piece back in there, whoops, chair, and you can see, and I wish I could lower the camera a little bit more. Let's see, there we go. You can see that that lines up and you could actually walk through. So it's all tied together like it would be if it were a real building. Alright, so that's that. There we go. And again, on the side you have that same setup so that any piece that you add to it you'd be able to fit through. Probably the most interesting thing on this one though is that this one again is a building with a full interior. I'll bring this way up so we can look down in it. And see how close I can get the camera. There we go. So this one has an interior like the other. So you've got start at the back area, you've got this nice back open area, and underneath this mezzanine is also open. So you can put stuff under there. Of course the staircases and the railings. So this way you'd have a little more, if you're doing like a thematic type game or something where you could say, okay, there is stuff up here or an office below or those kind of things. So it'll work for not only games for combat games, but also even if you're doing, like, for example, a role-playing game where you want extra terrain and you want stuff to really stand out. For the front half, I'll spin that around and we'll pull our fig out. I also added in a ladder. So you can see a little ladder poking through there at the back. Right there with the opening. So it's like you'd actually be able to walk into the building. This one I did not do a full floor all the way across either. I left some of it open. And that was because if you are going to take this model to the next level and you've been in a barn or something like that, for the area where the horses and those kind of things came in, they didn't really put floors in all the time. They left it open with dirt because it was easier to care for and that kind of thing. You just rake out, you put straw down, you rake it out, and you were done. So I tried to incorporate a lot of those little kind of details. So that's really it for this building. I mean, again, it's another simple design, a lot of different options, but I tried to make this one have as much character as possible with it. This is another one of the new kits. This is the livery stable. It'll be on the site shortly. All right, guys. Take care.